This 400-year-old method called Kyojutsu eliminated laziness for the samurai without using willpower or discipline. It functions through 3 deceptively simple principles, and it all initiates with understanding what laziness genuinely is. What we label laziness is actually a misinterpreted signal about the task, your approach, or your current state. Contemplate how you can binge Netflix for hours but experience lazy about important work. The difference isn't energy, it's something else entirely. This is why willpower and discipline so often fail us. We're fighting the incorrect enemy. When a samurai appeared to hesitate, it wasn't from laziness, it was strategic assessment. They understood that rushing forward without proper perception meant certain defeat. In the same manner, your resistance to initiating a task contains valuable information that most productivity systems instruct you to ignore. Here's what's genuinely occurring. Your brain is constantly calculating the value-to-effort ratio of any activity. When that calculation doesn't favor action, you experience what feels like laziness. Yet this isn't a character flaw, it's your mind attempting to protect your energy for truly worthwhile endeavors. Consider this scenario. You've been postponing an important project for days. Conventional advice articulates force yourself to initiate, use the 5-second rule, or break it into smaller tasks. These approaches treat laziness as an enemy to be conquered. Yet Kyojutsu takes a radically different approach. Instead of fighting yourself, Kyojutsu teaches us to inquire, what is this resistance actually communicating to me? Perhaps the approach is flawed. Maybe you lack crucial information, or you might be pursuing someone else's definition of productivity rather than what genuinely matters to you. Modern psychology confirms this insight. Studies demonstrate that procrastination isn't about poor time management, it's about emotional regulation. We delay tasks that trigger negative emotions. The laziness you experience is actually your mind's manner of avoiding psychological discomfort. Here's what occurs when you apply this principle. Instead of wasting energy battling yourself, you gain immediate clarity. The mental fog lifts. You discontinue perceiving yourself as lazy and initiate recognizing specific obstacles that can be addressed directly. For example, James struggled for months to initiate writing his book. Every productivity hack failed him. When he applied the first Kyojutsu principle, he recognized his resistance wasn't laziness, it was uncertainty about the book's structure. Once he addressed the genuine issue, writing became effortless. The key insight is that laziness is a symptom, not the disease. Treating the symptom never creates lasting transformation. Kyojutsu teaches us to examine deeper, to the actual cause of resistance. Once you recognize that laziness is an illusion, you can understand what resistance genuinely communicates to you. This brings us to the second principle of Kyojutsu, reading resistance as valuable information rather than an obstacle. Contemplate a samurai facing a stronger opponent. Instead of meeting strength with strength, a fight they would lose, they use the opponent's own force against them. This is exactly how Kyojutsu handles resistance. Rather than fighting it, you learn to understand and redirect it. Resistance demonstrates up in 3 main manners, each communicating something important. First, method resistance, when your approach isn't correct for the task. Second, timing resistance, when it's simply not the optimal moment for this particular work. Third, purpose resistance, when the task doesn't genuinely connect with what truly matters to you. Today we're constantly instructed to push through resistance, yet Kyojutsu reveals why this backfires. Forcing yourself forward means working against your natural strengths and rhythms, leading to poor results and burnout. When you're avoiding writing that report, instead of labeling yourself lazy, inquire what category of resistance is this. Maybe you require discussing some details before writing. Method resistance. Perhaps your brain functions superior on this type of task in the morning, not late afternoon. Timing resistance. Or possibly you don't perceive how this report actually matters in the bigger picture. Purpose resistance. Take Michael, a programmer who struggled with projects he should be excited about. Using this principle, he discovered his resistance wasn't laziness, it was a signal that working alone wasn't correct for him. When he joined a team, his resistance disappeared and his productivity took off. The practical application is straightforward. When you experience resistance, pause. Don't criticize yourself. Simply inquire, what is this resistance attempting to communicate to me? Then adjust based on the answer. This shift from fighting yourself to understanding your internal signals transforms how you function. Understanding resistance as information opens up a new possibility, strategic positioning that makes action effortless. The third principle of Kyojutsu is where everything comes together, strategic positioning. Victory belongs to the one who prepares the ground, as legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi wrote, capturing how a true warrior approached conflict. Instead of relying on strength alone, they manipulated the conditions to make success inevitable. This wisdom transforms how we approach any task. Most productivity systems articulate just accomplish it or push through, yet Kyojutsu offers a smarter approach. Position yourself so action B becomes inevitable. It's the difference between swimming against the current or with it. Same destination, completely different experience. Here's what makes positioning so powerful. When accomplished correctly, it makes willpower almost unnecessary. As ancient Japanese wisdom teaches, the skilled warrior arranges conditions so the path forward becomes the only natural choice. This functions through three practical elements. First, physical positioning, your actual environment. Clear your workspace of distractions for focused work. Use ambient noise for creative tasks. Stand up for quick decisions. Your physical space shapes your mental space. Second, mental positioning, your mindset and approach. Break complex tasks into obvious next actions. Use time constraints to create clarity. Inquire superior questions to reframe challenges. Third, social positioning, the individuals around you. Function alongside others with similar goals. Make public commitments. Find accountability partners who understand your objectives. Gohan, a developer who missed deadlines constantly, applied this principle by creating what he labeled a flow environment. He discovered that working standing up, using 25-minute timers, and positioning his desk to face a blank wall eliminated his tendency to procrastinate. These simple positioning transformations accomplished what years of attempting harder never could. Here's a powerful Kyojutsu insight to remember. The master achieves much by positioning carefully. The novice achieves little by forcing desperately. When you position strategically, resistance drops away naturally. The correct position makes difficult tasks experience almost effortless, like opening a door instead of breaking through a wall. Now that you understand all three principles, seeing through the illusion of laziness, reading resistance as signals, and strategic positioning, let's assemble them together into a practical system you can use immediately. Step 1. The observation practice. When you experience resistance toward a task, don't immediately judge or force yourself forward. Instead, take 30 seconds to simply notice the sensation. Where do you experience it in your physical body? What thoughts accompany it? The samurai labeled this seeing with clear eyes. By observing without judgment, you separate yourself from the resistance, creating space to respond rather than react. Attempt this. When you next experience lazy, set a timer for 30 seconds and just observe the sensation with curiosity. This alone often reduces its power by 50%. Step 2. Signal translation. Once you've observed, interpret what your resistance is actually communicating to you. Inquire 3 specific questions. Is my approach misaligned with this task? Is my timing incorrect? And is this task genuinely aligned with my deeper goals? Your answers reveal whether you require changing your method, timing, or reconsidering the task entirely. Gohan, struggling with coding projects, discovered his resistance wasn't about the work itself but his approach. Moving from late-night coding to morning sessions with clear boundaries transformed his productivity instantly. Step 3. Strategic environment design. Now redesign your environment to make action inevitable. This goes beyond just cleaning your desk. Identify your specific friction points and eliminate them systematically. If social media distracts you, use website blockers. If you function superior with ambient noise, create a dedicated playlist. If certain times of day yield superior results, protect those hours religiously. The key is customization. Your optimal environment is unique to you. Create what Kyojutsu labels your field of natural action, conditions where working experiences easier than not working. Step 4. Minimum viable action. Identify the smallest achievable step that bypasses resistance entirely. Kyojutsu teaches that momentum matters more than magnitude. Don't commit to writing for 2 hours. Commit to writing 1 sentence. Don't commit to a full workout. Commit to placing on your gym clothes. These tiny actions appear trivial, yet they activate what psychologists now label behavioral activation. Once in motion, you tend to stay in motion. The samurai understood that drawing the sword even an inch often committed them to the full strike. Step 5. Flow cultivation. Once in motion, protect your momentum using these 3 techniques. First, use interval immersion, focused work for 25 to 35 minutes followed by brief breaks, aligning with your brain's natural attention cycles. Second, practice task linking, connecting the completion of one task directly to the beginning of another, eliminating decision points where resistance can creep in. Third, use progress tracking, making your advancement visible creates a motivation loop that sustains itself. Here's where most individuals struggle. They attempt implementing these principles while still believing they're fundamentally lazy. Remember, you cannot simultaneously hold the old mindset and expect the new method to function. When you catch yourself slipping into self-judgment, gently return to the first principle, seeing through the illusion of laziness entirely. In your first week of practice, you'll experience 3 distinct phases. First, awkward awareness. Noticing your resistance patterns can be uncomfortable. Second, strategic experimentation. You'll test different environments and approaches to discover what functions optimal for you. Third, preliminary flow. You'll experience bursts of effortless productivity that confirm you're on the correct path. Be patient. This method took samurai years to master, yet even beginners observe significant results within days. As these principles become natural, something remarkable occurs. The entire concept of laziness begins to dissolve from your experience. Tasks that once required immense willpower now experience natural. The energy you previously spent fighting yourself becomes available for creative work. This is the ultimate promise of Kyojutsu. Not just accomplishing more, but transforming your entire relationship with doing.